Hello. Oh. We're going.
Oh my God, we're on camera. Yeah,
this is the intro of the video, basically about the gym. Old gym, haven't been here for a while with Ryder. Shock, look who it is. Austin in the last one, Ryder in this one. Will they ever be seen together? Probably not. Literally, he lives in America. We live many thousands of miles away. It's unlikely we'll ever be in the same place at the same time.
Oh.
Wow, look at this. So basically, agenda today, shockingly, another pull day, or another upper body day being pulled today, where we're gonna do pull movements, which essentially means back and biceps, which is actually relevant because I asked some questions on the Instagram story and someone said, what's an effective lats workout? Boom, you're about to see it. Say hello. Oh, I don't like this.
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
I like a little bit of a scooch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a bit crusty, this cable.
I don't know what to say. I've not been on camera since...
1066, Battle of Hastings.
But no, probably like May. What are we in now? November? Yeah.
I don't even know where we are. I don't know how heavy I'm going. I haven't done this for a year and a half on this machine. I haven't done this machine for literally since we were training here.
The last video we filmed. I'm going to the 18. The stackers.
Oh, what am I going to do?
You're going to have to get
my gym pin's in the car.
It's a bit dumbbell on top.
That's going to be a bit.
Huh? I'm pretty sure I've got a good stack.
Yeah,
Let me check the almighty logbook.
I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a bit troublesome trying to put the dumbbell on.
What's the matter?
Oh, come on now. I'll give Watson one thing. They actually make good cables.
It's quite hard to mess up a cable.
You'd be surprised. Do you know what I see? Some people do some menacing warm-up sets. TNF, prime example. I saw him like warm up to bench press. He doesn't bench press. He went 2 plates, 3 plates, nothing else. 2 plates, 3 plates, 160. He was like, that's enough warm me up. I was like, hang on a second. No, it's not.
That's crazy.
That made me sick.
First movement,
first warm-up set, no bar, no 2 plates. I can't even do that and I bench like 5 plates. I was like, that's menacing behaviour. If I do that now, I'll blow my pec again.
It's going to look like JPG.
You're going to have to put a dumbbell on the sack, surely.
Not today, I ain't.
Oh, come on now.
I can't keep myself down, that's the problem. I've only got one leg.
Yeah, but I'll give you another leg. Borrow mine. You share it.
You're going to give me another leg?
Yeah, I'll give you a leg. Ryder's hurt his leg, basically, and he hasn't trained legs for 3 years.
It's not been 3 years. It has literally been 6 months.
6 months.
But my leg is considerably smaller.
What did you do?
Tore, damaged, pulled my quad ligament in May. And
How'd you do it?
Don't ask.
How'd you do it?
Don't ask silly questions.
How'd you do it?
I squatted down body weight to pick something off the floor, and it went ping. You know?
So, you know when everyone says, I'll squat down to pick something up? Maybe you shouldn't. You ever thought about that?
The amount of times I've been in the gym and like, hack squat feels like I'm like, put another plate on it. No worries.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a menace. Not really thought about it.
Back squats, yeah, it feels easy. 20 kilo aside, fine.
Someone's squatting some weight, let me try it.
It was like, say this was here. I just like...
Well, don't do it again.
And it just went, bing!
It hurt.
Oh, horrendous.
Did you know something had happened?
Yeah.
Were you like, this is it?
I've hurt myself enough times to know when something's serious.
Yeah.
And it went, and I was like...
This is it.
Yeah.
I went to a psychiatrist, they're like, Harry, you're autistic, to which I replied, you need to get another job. They didn't take it well.
I think they call that denial.
I think they said I'm aesthetic.
I've got no headphones on, so please don't say anything stupid.
I'm not going,
The amount of times we could get back through footage and see you say something stupid and my set goes rubbish.
It's crazy how good AI is.
See, like this.
I
haven't even started.
I thought it was quite witty, actually. I thought it was stupid at all. So, going back to the question regarding effective lat training. Look at 2 things primarily. Number 1, sagittal plane movement, being this, boom, arm in front of you, elbow down. Number 2, usually a frontal plane movement like a wide grip pull up, wide grip pull down. So you're working this angle, that angle. You do those 2 things, you're pretty sorted, obviously sufficient volume of each. And then also pair that with different angles. You can row low to high, high to low, out here. So many things to play with. But outside that, lat training doesn't need to be that complicated. You'll notice how we're doing one side each and then go to the other side because we're resting between sides. I've mentioned this 1,000 times in videos, rest between sides.
But then there are a few theories about that, isn't there? I think is it Paul Carter, maybe?
He's the one who told me to rest between sides.
Yeah, no, but he now says...
Unless you've got an imbalance.
Do weak arm first.
Yeah, should I do?
Then no rest, straight into the strong side, and only match the relative intensity, not the amount of reps.
So you could do 8 on this side and like 11 on this side.
Yeah.
But then surely if there's that much of a discrepancy between size and strength, surely that then further creates a larger gap.
But then his theory, I think, is because you're doing the weaker side first, you're going to make the stronger side less effective.
But then surely you'd want to do the weaker side first, match the reps on the second side to then close that gap further. So you're getting more effectiveness in motor unit recruitment from the weaker side first, but then also not overstimulating or matching stimulus through intensity on the stronger side, thus furthering the gap.
Well, you're getting banned on TikTok.
Charity boxing match.
This guy's a joke.
I need to...
But then I thought the other day,
Here we go.
if you've got a really bad weakness, like one side to the other,
Yeah.
why don't you set your left arm,
Yeah.
do both sets on your left arm first, resting in between those sets, and then finish with doing both sets on your right side.
You could do. I technically...
I thought about it the other day.
Maybe you're a pioneer.
If you've got really bad weakness, that is. Like, do you mean if you can get like 10 reps on one side and only 5 on the other?
Yeah, it's quite a discrepancy. Let's try 20. Let's try 20.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, half the issue from this stems from the fact that I have to put this on the stack.
I don't think we've trained together since the last video, so I don't know how strong you are anymore.
I'm not that strong. I'm sliding.
Feels a bit sketchy. To be fair, I think training with a partner, if you do unilateral movements, doing like one and one is the best way of doing it.
I saw C-Bomb do that once in a video, that's where I got the idea.
Yeah, I actually gave him the idea.
Regarding effective lat training, we look at sagittal plane, arm in front. The upper arm, there, is close to the body. What he's then doing is trying to drive the elbow down into the hip.
I'm trying.
Trying. Key thing there is he's not letting the upper arm go beyond the body. He's not pulling back like that, stops in line with the body or near enough, because that's when the lats reach their peak shortened position. That's their kind of peak contraction point. Any range of motion beyond that, not really necessary for the lats. Shifts a bit of emphasis over to the mid-back.
Thank you. So just expanding on what Harry just said, obviously as you can see, Harry's arm's not traveling past his body. I've had a few people say to me it looks like you're almost like cutting the range of motion short. You're actually just working the lat through its full range of motion rather than the whole range of motion of your arm, if that makes sense. By bringing your elbow to your body, you are completing the movement. It's not cutting it short, but...
The other thing there is you'll notice how I'm leaning back slightly. Riddle this, good angle for this actually. If I'm directly upright like so, and I row in line with the body here, look how much elbow flexion has occurred. Look how bent my arm is. A lot more bicep than necessary. If I lean back slightly, so I can get the same range of motion through the lats here, but a little bit less bicep because of less elbow flexion. So rather than being like this, I'm like that.
Like
I'm
that.
really tired.
Huh?
I'm sleepy.
Yeah, mate, because of training at 10:30 at night.
This is nearly my bedtime. Yeah,
this
shocking.
machine's not very good.
Shocking.
Look at this, why does it tip here, look?
There's peak tension there. It's too bad. It's clapped, it's crap, but I could probably make do if I went heavy enough.
Yeah, that's horrendous, mate. Yeah, I'm not using that. Well, I mean, we've just sat here and said how bad this machine is. However, the reason Harry is using it is for his upper back. So obviously, the first exercise we did was lat biased, like close arm path. As you can see, Harry's arms are a lot more flared. So his torso's in here and his arms are a lot more flared. So he's getting a lot more scapular movement. So he's getting a lot more of that upper back. So a bit different to the first exercise.
That was crap. Waste of time, why did we do it?
I told you it was rubbish.
It's actually a bit rubbish.
I told you it was really bad. I'm not even gonna bother.
I couldn't breathe on it, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I actually want to call out Watson here. We spoke about this off camera. This machine of yours, shocking, awful. Your T-bar row, fantastic, bloody great machine. Who do you fire? Who do you upset?
But how can they make two rows that do they do a very similar thing?
Basically, two
one is the best
chest-supported rows.
machine they make,
And one's
the
the
other
worst.
is probably the worst.
One of the worst. There are a
One of the
few
worst.
shocking ones.
I mean, there are some people out there that probably say this is quite a good machine.
They just don't know what they're talking about. Thoughts on bulking being volted if muscle gain is signal versus fuel driven? Why do you still bulk?
The main person this has come from is Paul Carter. Not calling them out or anything. Basically, he's basically come out and said bulking is useless. But in the same post, he said, find your maintenance calories and eat 100 calories over your maintenance calories, which in itself is bulking.
That is a bit stupid.
Eating above your maintenance calories is still bulking regardless. So depends on your definition of bulking.
The idea that building muscle, so hypertrophy, is signal driven, not fuel driven, is not news. I made a video on this about 2 years ago where I spoke about building muscle being signal driven. That signal, for example, is going to come in the form of maintenance of mechanical tension, progressive overload. Do you need additional calories to drive that signal? No. We know that's true because we know that you can build muscle in a deficit. But we also know that it's typically harder to build muscle in a deficit. Then you ponder the thought, if building muscle is signal driven, but it's harder to build muscle to drive that signal when deprived of nutrients, calorie deficit, why would it not, by default, be slightly easier to drive that signal in a surplus with an excess of nutrients, calorie surplus? To which I then ponder the thought, do you need to eat in a mass surplus to build muscle? No, I think that's stupid. Because at the end of the day, you can build a limited amount of muscle, but a much greater amount of fat. If you're going to build 5 pounds of muscle in a year, why build 5 pounds of muscle and 30 pounds of fat when you can build 5 pounds of muscle, maybe 5 pounds of fat? A slight calorie surplus, 100 calories, 200 calories, to then provide you with additional fuel to make it easier to transfer that additional energy into performance in the gym to then help better drive that signal, either leading greater progressive overload, even more weight, more reps added, or more frequent progressive overload.
I also think every single person I know who has ever bulked always says, I feel stronger when I'm bulking. Whether that is a placebo effect or not, I don't think it matters. Obviously, there's been loads of studies around placebo effects, not necessarily in the gym, but how effective they can be. So even if bulking makes you believe you are stronger and you go in the gym with that mindset of being stronger,
placebo is powerful.
And you lift more consistently, etc., you're going to build more muscle by default.
You don't need to be a rocket science to put common sense into the equation. Sadly, common sense isn't too common, and people will see creators like Paul Carter, who I'm a big fan of. I love his content. I actually agree with a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it, and I've actually learned a lot from him and his content. I noticed, particularly with the younger generation, they'll see this one popular creator, being Paul in this case, like, Paul said this, it must be right, no one can dispute him, he is the Lord. And then they'll just take everything he says as gospel without actually understanding the mechanisms behind what he's trying to explain. They'll basically become a source of regurgitating his information rather than learning and actually understanding it themselves and actually applying their own logic and thought process to the equation to either agree with it or maybe alter it slightly based on their logic.
What is your biggest gimmick? And we have actually just walked away from the machine and left the plates on it. Bearing in mind, we are the only people in the gym.
The gym's closed.
It doesn't really matter.
Good behaviour to adopt going forward, though, is put your weights away.
So come on.
So if we go put our weights away. Now, this could be a great exercise demonstration of how to put your weights away. I see many sausages and willies.
Should we do a form analysis?
Form analysis. Well, you've got to be careful, you blow your knee out.
So, Harry, I want you to bend over. Make sure you use your legs, not your back.
Oh, sorry. Throw it back. Honestly, it's a tick.
Now, I want you to bend over, use your legs, not your back.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do it back because otherwise it'd blow my knee out.
Get down there. Slide the plate off the machine. Get a good grip of the machine. Bring it up to your chest. No, not like that. Hold it nicely. Walk to the weight station, just like so. And then you're going to do the same thing, but in reverse. And instead of taking the plate off, you're going to put the plate on.
Look at that depth. Can we call up the depth? Wow. 6'3", still hit depth.
And then
crazy.
Just repeat that as many times as you have plates.
That's horrible.
This is going to be a great example of how
you're not going to...
How training with one leg is really inefficient because I can only put one leg under the support. So, yeah. If you see me going really light, don't mind me. It's a myth.
This is a warm-up, by the way.
I wouldn't go any narrower than that, mate. You don't want too narrow.
Yeah, but you're kind of like a little bit like... You're a little bit...
Good. We don't need two sagittal plane movements in one session.
Bloody hell.
Because if you go two sagittal plane, it's just the same movement we just did.
That's what I want to do. Why? Because I want to feel good twice.
That is a great reason. You can't even argue with it. Do you know what I mean?
Actually.
A good reason for doing an exercise is just having any reason. Even if your reason is just made up and it's wrong, but if you've got a reason as to why you're doing something, I love it.
That's something I kind of try and remember sometimes, especially with coaching people, is sometimes I say, I really want to do this movement, and you know it's a clap movement. So do you actually enjoy it? Oh, I really like that movement. Yeah, fair enough. Go on then.
I don't know if I've told this story before on camera, but I had a member in the gym doing toe elevated RDLs, which obviously, which we know, rubbish. And I said to him, why are you doing that? And he said, I saw a TikTok post about it being more stable because you've got a better center of gravity. I can't remember what he said. But he had a reason. And I said to him, I was like, you're doing it because you've got a reason. Your reason
crack on, mate.
May be rubbish, but do you know what I mean? He's not just doing it because, I don't know.
Whose Gymshark bottle's that? Is that his? Oh, sorry, mate.
You know there's cameras in there as well?
Well, thank God I didn't get my bottom out. Oh, your bottle fell over, that's crazy.
But did you put it on pin 12 already?
I'm warming up, yeah.
You know I can't keep myself in the chair.
Just get heavier. Just get bigger.
How big?
Hey, come on now. We don't do that shaming on this channel, please.
It's not shaming, it's crazy.
Appreciating. Why do you build me up, build me up?
My arms are so long I can just put the weight down.
Rank the evidence-based figures out there.
I would say Coach Eugene has the best approach for the style of training he promotes.
I think he's a really good,
alternative approach. Like
Also,
he doesn't just go hypertrophy.
His approach is really good for the masses. It can appeal to a lot of people because it's really movement focused. So Coach Eugene's really good for the masses and like improving movement and also just general like health functionality, things like that, how to move better, things like that.
I think just for that makes him top.
Yeah, he's good. I actually rate him a lot. JPG.
Haven't seen a lot from him recently.
Haven't, but he's always been good. He doesn't overcomplicate things. He's not narrow-minded. He does often say like, you know what, just my opinion, this could also work. I actually rank him pretty highly as well. Paul Carter.
Love him, but why is he so angry.
Quality of information is high, I would agree with that. Approach online strikes me as the kind of guy who would go on Tinder, like everybody, get no matches and complain about women. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, no doubt, and I really like his education. A very informative guy. Bit narrow-minded, I would say. Doesn't really think outside of his lens, which is no disrespect there. But again, online, entitled.
Do you know what gets me? He'll put up a question box, he'll ask a question, and he'll get angry at you for asking a question.
Stupid question, how dare you be born into this world?
He's like talking about like motor units and hypertrophy, and he talks about all this fancy stuff, and he wonders why his just like general population followers don't follow it.
TNF.
Good, top tier.
From an education standpoint,
Good stuff.
Very high out there. Really good, especially with nutrition. Also just quite raw, truthful, black and white, simple. I love that. He's up there. Also very nice guy. Ryan Dewars, I'm not gonna lie, actually, I'm gonna say a controversial thing here.
Oh.
Ryan Dewars and Paul Carter go head to head. I think for content and education, I actually prefer Ryan. I would actually better align with Ryan's approach, although very similar. I think I've seen a few justifications, explanations, and arguments presented by Ryan. Don't necessarily agree with Paul, which I would say like, I actually back it. So I'd actually favour Ryan for an education-based standpoint. Mike Israetel, personally, very funny guy, hands down, very funny guy.
Dr. Mike,
sorry. Very funny guy, but from people I would rely on for educational purposes, he's a bit lower down, to be honest. He's a bit lower down, more like the mid to...
Do you know who goes top tier for me? Harry TFNL.
Jeff Nippard, higher than Mike, lower than the people I previously mentioned, like Ryan and Paul.
I'm just not the biggest fan of all this stretch
and triceps are things I don't necessarily align with.
It just goes all the time. He's just like, I'm doing this in the everything length of position, which we know is more fatiguing. But very nice guy. And why did that guy throat punch him? I would never know.
Charity boxing match, let's go. Another neutral grip pull down. You're thinking, Harry, what about exercise redundancy, where you're doing two movements in a similar or same plane of motion, working the muscle at a similar length? Great question, I'm glad you asked. Quite frankly, as I presented earlier, because I want to, why not? Sometimes I actually want to do things for enjoyment. Another thing, the arm angle is slightly different. We're not directly elbow forward in here, we're flaring out slightly. So although yes, still sagittal plane here, being in front of you, we are altering the arm angle slightly, thus changing the angle in which we're working the lats ever so slightly, which I think we could use as a potential justification for maybe less exercise redundancy. I'm just saying that to make you feel better.
Expanding on what Harry just said about exercise redundancy, I think one of the only times I would do two exercises from the same plane of motion in a session would be if one is bilateral and one is unilateral.
What do you do outside the gym? Hobbies, for example? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked.
Do you want
to take this one first?
Yeah, I mean, outside the gym, I work a lot. I come to the gym. When I'm outside the gym, I come back to the gym.
He works in the gym.
You work in the gym?
So,
yeah.
Quite frankly,
but to be fair, no, outside of that, I like traveling, so I like going on holiday.
I've heard that. I've seen that in a few bios before.
You know, I like just trying to go as many places as possible, see the world.
So outside that, he basically, when he says see the world, he's chest press, pull down, hack squat. What else in the world is there?
I would like to note that I do have slightly more of a life than Harry does.
Oh, he doesn't do hack squats. Sorry, he's got bad knee.
What do you actually do anything else outside the gym, Harry?
I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, sorry, yeah. You shouldn't talk during your sets, because if you can talk during your set, it's probably not hard enough. Not during your top set anyway.
What do I do outside the gym? I work, go to the gym, edit videos about the gym, do TikToks about the gym, Instagram about the gym, talk to Taylor about the gym, coach people about the gym, do that actually. What else do I do? I play some games sometimes, not about the gym actually.
What games do you play, Harry?
I might play a bit of the old Call of Duty. Might play, actually that's the one I'm playing, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 at the moment.
You talk very fast. You've got the need for speed.
I am speed. I sit in my car, listen to it a bit.
Oh, he had to talk about the car.
Don't have one. Someone actually messaged me that yesterday. I said, a black one.
It was in your last vlog, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure I saw the exhaust pop and bang.
It doesn't take a genius to work out opportunities for growth. If you do something more frequently, I guess accumulate the same, if not greater, weekly frequency and stimulus, how does that not add up to be better for growth? Imagine 52 opportunities to grow in a year, or 104.
What if I do one set of lats every day?
I think
that is 365 opportunities for growth.
I think the point in which it stops is the point in which you're not encouraging enough stimulus per session.
How do we track that?
Progression probably, and also recovery. Can you recover?
He's good at this.
Progression through enough stimulus for growth each session, and also progression through, or potential stimulus for growth through, are you able to recover from training that frequently? If you're training your lats every day, I doubt you're going to be able to recover.
I feel like the fitness industry just goes around in circles, because everyone used to do muscle groups at least twice a week, and then it went through a phase where everyone was like, bro split, and now everyone's like, oh no, training it twice a week's better. I feel like we just sort of...
Training once a week is fine, absolutely fine. Like training each muscle once a week is absolutely fine. For me personally, my goals and what I just prefer as a person for my training I like to hit everything at least twice a week. Unless it's a strong point, in which case I might do once because it's not going to be a focal point. If it's a weak point, 2 or 3 times. I don't like going above 3 usually.
Yeah, 3's a bit crazy.
I see some people, see a lot more commonly in women who are like trying to get into figure, whatever it may be, and they'll train legs like 4 times a week. I mean,
I didn't even know there was 4 days in a week.
if you program really well, I guess you could probably figure out
4 a week?
maybe. I don't know.
There's not going to be a rest day. You could probably do 4 over like a rolling 8-day period.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You go on, off, on, off, on, off.
But otherwise, if you do 4 a week, there'd be back-to-back leg sessions.
But I say, so I train a couple of people, or I coach a couple of people, I should say, who want to get into competing.
Oh, bodybuilding.
Yeah, and like women, and they train legs 3 times a week.
Can you put this a bit lighter so I can do it?
So they'll do like lower, upper, lower, full body.
I think the only like issue with that, like there are not many leg exercises that only train one muscle per exercise.
Nah,
It's probably only 3 or 4. Like every other leg movement is either quads and glutes, or hamstrings and glutes.
And the thing is, when you're doing most quad patterns, you're going to get some decent glute stimulus. When you're doing most hamstring patterns, you're probably also going to get some decent glute stimulus. I mean, there's definitely going to be a carryover there. If it's a focal point of development, I say 2 to 3 times a week.
On a separate note, can you tell them why we're doing another sagittal plane movement?
That's a great question.
You may be wondering why we're doing a third sagittal plane movement in one session.
So this one obviously is a bit different. It's more of an isolation-based movement, a lot less bicep involvement here. But quite frankly, the reason why we do it is, and I'm going to be brutally honest here, as Ryder actually pointed, his idea, great idea, is personally, if I were programmed by myself, I would not do this because it doesn't align with how I program and my current training beliefs. I've recently hired a coach who is competitive bodybuilder, as I'm looking to get into bodybuilding. Actually, one of the questions on my sheet here was, when do you plan to compete? I do plan to compete. When, pending, you'll see. I said to him, you know what? We have different training styles, and I understand there's more than one way to do something, and I'm not married to my way, although it's maybe not how I would program my clients. It's not about my clients right now. It's about how somebody who's more successful in bodybuilding than I am, is going to program me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to trust you. I'm going to shut up and crack on, despite me maybe not doing this myself or believing in this myself, because maybe I could learn something. And if it works, fantastic. I've got a great arsenal to apply to my clients.
Harry's obviously seen some good growth training the way he does, obviously over a long period of time, but eventually you probably are going to need something different, whether it is just mentally to just like sort of refresh training palette, so to speak. Training in a different way could probably be beneficial. And unfortunately, the gym is pretty boring.
It's pretty repetitive.
Because you should just do the same thing and just get a little bit better and a little bit better.
I have this conversation with clients a lot, is when I look at, or when I take clients on, obviously, by the way, link is already linked in my bio, I just want to point out, and I often do say programming is the least exciting and involved aspect of coaching in many cases, not all cases, but many cases, because quite frankly, effective programming is often very repetitive. A lot of the benefit of coaching comes from other things, the guidance, the advice, the form analysis, whatever it may be. Programming is usually pretty samey week on week for a while until blocks change, and blocks often change for something's not working, your goals have changed, or motivation is struggling, you want to spice things up. I'm trusting the process, and I'm going to listen to my coach, which is something I know a lot of people do struggle with. Got a couple of conflicts here.
Yeah, the cameraman is not following his program currently.
Actually, I'm going to call him out. You know what? Taylor comes to me. Oh, Harry, he's had some knee problems since way before lifting. Many moons ago, he was a wee boy. Oh, I've got knee problems. My knees flare up again. I'm going to take a back seat from squats. I said, 100%, let's give it time to recover. Pain-free movement with medicine, all that good stuff, but you've got to understand when to push it.
Motion is lotion.
He just comes up to me and goes, I'm going to try squat today. I was like, oh, don't do it. But I said, you know, if you're going to do it, ease into it. There's me thinking 60 kilos. He matches his PB.
Did it hurt?
Well, how are you squatting now, big man? You're not.
Listen to your coach. I think that should be the title of the video. So this is actually something me and Harry disagree with. Harry is going to be doing his rear delt flies with a cuff.
I'm getting the question.
I'm just going to hold the cable because I prefer it, and that is my reasoning.
Someone's actually asked me a question. I'm glad you're here, actually. Hello, I'm going to come over here. Hello. Pre- and post-workout nutrition, what I typically do, how long, and all that stuff. I tend to try and channel carbs pre- and post-workout. So I might have bagel, jam, Pop-Tarts, cereal, things like that pre- and post-workout. I do pre-workout probably about an hour or so beforehand. Depends how your digestion is looking.
So Harry, what about the anabolic window?
I knew this was coming. Firstly, the anabolic window is irrelevant. The anabolic window is very relevant if you are enhancing with Nova Rapid, which is a fast-acting insulin, in which case once you stabby stab, jabby jab, you have roughly about 30 minutes before you end up going a bit hypo and so what you would then typically do, if anyone cares, you probably consume about at least 10 grams per IU of insulin injected. So outside of that,
no one should be injecting this stuff in their bodies.
But outside of that, no, the anabolic window is pointless.
As long as you eat, I would probably recommend eating something before the gym.
Although you don't have to. A load of research came out years ago saying, or actually indicating that fasted training doesn't result in a drop-off in strength.
Yeah, but again,
provided how fasted, if you train shortly after waking, if you've been fasting for 12 hours, probably a bit different.
Yeah. I mean, it can
Like
work
12
for
hours
some,
of
but I would
yeah.
say for the mass, eating something before you go to the gym, hopefully with some carbs in it, probably going to be beneficial.
Honestly, fast-acting carbs, cereal bars, squares bars, things like that
But
are
also
usually
not
quite good.
eating too close to coming to the gym either. I see some people literally like, they will drive from McDonald's to the gym after eating like 2 double Big Macs with chips. And their session's rubbish, which is always going to be. Your body's just going to be digesting food and not trying to work out. And Harry is doing rear delt flies on pin 7. Are you okay?
About same person asked, wait for it. Thoughts on creatine, which one, when, how and why? Is there a difference from women to consider? No. Creatine monohydrate every day without fail. When? Doesn't really matter, I just aim for roughly the same time every day. How much? I usually say about 0.1 grams per kilo of body weight.
Do you need to load it, Harry?
No.
Do you need to cycle it, Harry?
No. Firstly, why you don't need to load it, it's got a 3-week saturation period, give or take, in which case to reach a saturation point, it's going to take 3 weeks in the system. Loading that's not really going to accelerate that process, it's pointless. Don't worry about that. Secondly, regarding cycling it, does it cause any harm to the body, in which case your body would need a break from it for it to justify being cycled? No.
And it doesn't get any less effective over time.
Yeah, does it lose effectiveness
no
with use and frequency of use and duration of use? No. It's like saying I'm going to cycle my multivitamin. What is your favorite exercise and why?
I like the exercises that I'm good at. I quite like this thing, plate the shoulder press. Feels quite good recently. I'm quite enjoying that. But I'm also on my pull-up grind recently. So it was probably about 3 months ago. I started doing pull-ups again. I tried to do them and I could do 3 bodyweight pull-ups. And I thought, I've been training for 5, maybe 6 years now. And I thought 3 bodyweight pull-ups is not very good. Hated them. About 6 weeks in, I was like, this is fantastic.
For enjoyment, what movements do I actually like doing? I like doing side raises because they give me a pump. I don't like bench pressing, but I like feeling like I'm worth something in my life when I do bench press occasionally. I do like a hat squat too, I actually do quite like hat squat. Makes me sad. I like a movement that makes me sad.
So I'm not really a big fan of incline dumbbell curls.
I've not done them for about 3 years.
I'm going to be doing some normal dumbbell curls.
Apparently my biceps are small.
Yeah, very small.
Thank you. So quite frankly, when it comes to bicep training, there's not really a lot to say. Ryder is just doing a dumbbell curl. Do you have to do a dumbbell curl? No. It's actually arguably one of my favorite bicep movements. Quite like them, can go quite heavy with them, and that's always quite nice. Makes me feel better about myself when I'm feeling a bit sad and insecure, especially when people leave horrible comments on my videos. Don't laugh, it's very helpful.
Remember at the start of the video when I said, don't say anything stupid?
That wasn't stupid, that was actually truthful. Thank you very much. He's invalidating my feelings. Ryder cancelled in the chat, please. But honestly, when it comes to bicep training, supinated movements are preferred. I do like a rotation at times, that's absolutely fine. Can do a nutrient movement like a hammer curl for the arm brachialis if you want to.
It's a very good set. I think next time we might actually try and train at a normal time and train a little bit harder. But hopefully we've given you some good information.
Paul Castro, if you're watching this video, so sorry about causing a ruckus. Please don't shout me on your story. I actually really like your education. I just think therapy would probably be quite helpful. It helped me a lot.
And what are those things they've got to do? Like, comment and subscribe.
And also, TFNL coaching, link down below in the description. We've got TFNL workout guides, like the growth guide, best guide you'll ever buy, and also cheaper than any of the other ones online. You've also got the TFNL group coaching, which works for at home or at the gym, which is less than $1 a day. Everything's linked down below in the description. Ignore everything I've just said and click the link and I'll love you forever. Thanks for tolerating me, thanks for tolerating him, and thanks for tolerating the video.
Come on, reveal yourself!